Today, we are diving into an interesting topic, why you shouldn't say Anata. I think I have never used this word in my long life. When you speak Japanese, 99% of the time it's not necessary, but I hear it a lot. So let me explain why you don't need it. We'll talk about why Anata can be problematic, situations when it's actually okay to use Anata, and let's check some real conversations without using Anata. First of all, let's see what's the problem of using Anata. Before we dive into Japanese, let's talk about the word you in English. You is one of the most commonly used pronouns in English, and it's very neutral. Whether you are talking to a friend, a stranger, your boss, or even president, you works perfectly. You is universal. Anata translates to you in English. However, unlike you, the situation when you can use Anata is very limited. For example, you can't use Anata to your friends or bosses. As for hierarchy, Anata can be typically used only for someone at the same level as the speaker or someone below the speaker. Let's check how to use Anata in the next chapter. Basically, there are only 3 situations when you can actually use Anata. The first one is when a wife calls her husband. It's very specific and limited. Plus, it's a traditional usage. So you often find it in old Japanese movies or anime. Sometimes it sounds sweet, like Anata, and sometimes not. The second one is when you lecture someone. It's difficult to lecture someone higher than you, right? So typically, the speaker is in a higher position than the listener. Usually, it sounds like Anata ne, blah 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 blah. Because of this association, Anata can even sound negative to native speakers. You may have heard anta or omae in anime. They are used in a casual situation like among friends or teammates. The last situation is when you are addressing an unspecified person. This usually happens during a speech, conference, presentation, or in a video when the speaker wants to engage with any listener. For example, if the speaker wants to ask for opinions after a presentation or interact with the audience but can't address everyone by name, now Anata is perfect to use. As we've seen, there are 3 occasions where you can use Anata. When addressing your Japanese husband, when lecturing someone, or when speaking to an audience. Outside of these situations, it's generally not appropriate to use it. Especially if you know the listener's name or job title, you should use it instead. Okay, now it's a small quiz. Here are some frequent mistakes from my students. How do you say "how about you" in Japanese? Anata wa is the wrong answer. If you know their name or position, you must use them always. And if you don't know them, it's now to ask their name for the first time or even the second time. Don't miss this chance, otherwise it will get tougher and more awkward to ask it. It's the same way you can't say anata mo as you too. And also, always you need a specific noun before mo. Finally, let's look at some examples of how to speak without using Anata. Imagine you've just arrived at the Japanese airport. Scene 1. You want to ask a random Japanese person how to get to the station. Do you know, "Excuse me, can I ask you something?" in Japanese? Your sentences will be すみません、ちょっといいですか? ちょっといいですか is a little tricky. Direct translation doesn't make sense in this case. So if you use Anata here, you will scare Japanese people, since we don't expect to hear that from you. After catching a Japanese person, now you can ask, "Where's the train station?" The sentence will be, 駅はどこですか? Then Japanese people will tell you, あそこです, over there, or they will take you to the station. Scene 2. Now you are about to check into a hotel, then you want to ask a Japanese if they speak English. Your sentences are, "Excuse me, do you speak English?" My recommendation will be, すみません、英語わかりますか？英語 English わかりますか？ Do you understand? I think this is the most natural and the easiest way to ask this question. But in any ways, you don't need to use Anata. The last scene is at a restaurant. You want to ask a Japanese staff what they recommend. Your sentences are, "Excuse me, what's your recommendation?" The answer will be, すみません、おすすめは何ですか？おすすめ recommendation 何ですか what is. So this is a very convenient phrase, so when you go to Japan, it can be helpful. Now let's check the sentences one more time. Can I ask you something? ちょっといいですか？ Do you speak English? 英語わかりますか？ What's your recommendation? おすすめは何ですか？ So, while Anata translates to you, but unlike you in English, the usage of Anata is very limited. If you know the listener's name or position, you have to always use it. And you can use Anata only when you call your Japanese husband, when you lecture someone, or when you engage with your audience. Other than that, you don't need to use it at all. Have you ever used Anata? How did it go? If you have other situations that Anata fits, let me know. Hope you enjoy watching this video. ありがとうございます。See you in the next one.